I'm Nora Tate, 50 years old, and I've poured my whole life into Tate Family Farm right here in Hillsboro, North Carolina. I can still picture myself as a little girl, maybe 6, running through my father Amos's orchard, my bare feet sinking into the warm, soft dirt. The apple trees stretched tall above me, their leaves whispering in the breeze, and I'd giggle, reaching for the lowest fruit. Amos would lift me up, his hands strong, and I'd pluck an apple, its skin shiny and red. "This is ours, Nora," he'd say, his voice deep and steady like the earth under our feet. "Our farm, our family, our home." Those words planted a seed in my heart, one that grew for 30 years into a place where Hillsboro came together. I'd wake up before the sun, the air sweet with peach blossoms, and work until the stars came out, my hands calloused, my heart full. I pressed apple cider in the barn, baked peach pies in my kitchen, and set out long wooden tables for harvest festivals where kids ran wild and neighbors shared stories under string lights. The farm was more than just land. It was my promise to Amos, to keep our roots deep in this town's soil, to give Hillsboro something that would last forever. I'm a widow now, with no children of my own, just my nephew Ben, who loved the farm as much as I did, always helping me pick fruit or fix fences. I thought I'd built something no one could break, something that would carry Amos's name for years to come. I wasn't rich, but I was happy, waking each day to the hum of crickets, the glow of fireflies at night. The farm was my everything, the place where I felt whole, where I honored Amos's lessons. Work hard, love deep, stay true. But then my brother-in-law, Wade Carver, and his wife Lila, my old friend, came into the picture. Wade had a wide smile and promises as smooth as river water. He'd sit on my porch, sipping lemonade, saying, "Nora, I'll help you grow this place." I trusted him. Like you trust someone who's shared your table, eaten your bread. I let him handle the farm's books, thinking he cared as much as I did. Lila would nod, her eyes warm, saying, "We're in this together, Nora." I believed them, opened my heart, my home, my life's work. But they lied. Wade sold the farm for $3 million to a developer, pocketed the money, and told Hillsboro I failed. Lila spread lies and folks I loved turned away. I lost it all. In a tiny cottage, I found Amos's letter and a $6 million trust fund. "You're stronger than you know," he wrote. That lit a fire in me. I'd build a new farm and make Wade and Lila pay. Want to see how I did it? This story's raw, full of hurt, hard work, and revenge that burned them down. It's about pain so deep it shakes you, strength you didn't know you had, and a town that learns the truth. Subscribe to join our crew for more stories like this. Stick with me. Wade's secrets were uglier than I ever thought, and I made sure Hillsboro saw him for the snake he was. For 30 years, I gave everything to Tate Family Farm in Hillsboro, North Carolina. I'd wake up before dawn, the sky still dark, the air thick with the sweet scent of peach blossoms, and I'd head out to the orchard, my boots crunching on the gravel path. I'd work until dusk, my hands rough from pulling weeds, pruning branches, and picking fruit. But my heart was always full. I taught local kids how to prune apple trees, showing them how to hold the shears just right, their small hands eager. I shared my peach pie recipes at church suppers, the crust flaky, the filling warm, and folks would smile, saying, "Nora, you've got magic in those hands." I set out long wooden tables for our harvest festivals, string lights glowing above, where kids ran through the fields, laughing, and neighbors danced to old country songs, their boots kicking up dust. Hillsboro called the farm its heart, and I felt so proud, knowing I was keeping Amos's dream alive, giving this town a place to gather, to feel like family. I'd look out at the orchard at night, fireflies blinking, and think, this is what Amos wanted. But Wade Carver, 48, and Lila Hurst, 46, had other plans. Wade was my brother-in-law, married to Lila, my childhood friend who used to pick peaches with me when we were girls, our hands sticky with juice, laughing under the summer sun. I trusted them like family. I let Wade manage the farm's books, dreaming of opening a little store in town to sell our cider and jams. "Nora, I'll help you grow this place," Wade said, sitting on my porch sipping lemonade, his smile wide and easy. I believed him, thought he cared about the farm as much as I did. Lila would nod, her eyes soft, saying, "We're in this together, Nora." I let them in, thinking they'd help me build something even bigger, something Amos would be proud of. But trust can blind you, and I was blind. Wade didn't help. He was planning, waiting, watching. He started slow, dropping hints that the farm wasn't doing well. "Nora, the numbers are tight," he'd say, his voice heavy, showing me papers filled with numbers I didn't fully understand. I'd nod, my stomach twisting, thinking I'd missed something, that I wasn't good enough. Lila would pat my hand across the kitchen table, her smile gentle, saying, "We'll fix it, don't you fret, Nora." But it was all a lie, a slow poison they fed me over months, each word sinking deeper. Wade crafted a fake financial report, claiming the farm was bankrupt, saying we'd lose everything if I didn't act fast. I remember that day so clear, the sun shining through my kitchen window, the table covered with papers. Wade pushed them toward me, his eyes steady, his voice urgent. "Sign it over to me, Nora," he said. "I'll save the farm. You trust me, don't you?" My hands shook as I held the pen, my stomach in knots, but I signed, thinking I was protecting Amos's dream, saving the farm for Hillsboro, for Ben, for me. I was so wrong. Wade took that signature and sold the farm, my home, my everything, for $3 million to a developer who wanted to bulldoze the orchards and build houses where my trees stood. He pocketed the money, moved into a big shiny mansion with Lila, and told Hillsboro I'd failed, that I'd run the farm into the ground with bad choices. Lila went to church suppers, her voice soft but sharp, whispering to neighbors. Nora was careless, didn't know how to manage. People I'd known my whole life, folks who'd eaten my pies, danced at my festivals, started looking at me different, their smiles gone, their words short and cold. I'd walk to the market, and they'd turn away, their whispers like knives in my back. Wade stood in my farmhouse, the one I'd painted red with my own hands, the walls bright with love, and he sneered. "You're done here, Nora. You're a fool who lost it all." Lila stood behind him, her face cold as stone, not saying a word, but her eyes said enough. She was glad I was gone. I walked away that day, my boots heavy on the gravel, the sound echoing in my ears, leaving behind the farm I'd built with Amos's love, the place where I'd felt whole. I rented a small cottage in Hillsboro, just a bed, a table, and walls that felt too close, too empty. I'd sit there, staring at nothing, Wade's words, "You're a fool," cutting deeper each time I heard them in my head. I thought he'd won, thought my life was over, thought I'd let Amos down, let Hillsboro down. I'd walk to the market, see folks turn away, hear their whispers. Poor Nora couldn't keep the farm. My chest ached, not just from losing the farm but from losing Hillsboro, the town that felt like family. I was alone, broken, my hands empty, my heart too heavy to carry. But then I found something that changed everything. In that cottage, sorting through old boxes, I came across a letter from Amos, his handwriting shaky but clear, tucked with papers from his lawyer I'd never seen. My father had left me $6 million, a trust fund from quiet investments he'd made, money he'd hidden to protect me. I read the letter, tears falling on the page, his words like a warm hand on my shoulder. "Nora, you're stronger than you know. Keep growing." I didn't cry anymore after that. I felt a fire spark inside me, a need to make Wade and Lila pay, not with shouts or fists, but with something deeper, something they'd never forget. I'd grow a new farm, a new life, and show Hillsboro who they really were. I wasn't done. I was just starting. My fight wasn't just for me. It was for Amos, for my town, for every piece of my heart they tried to steal. In my little Hillsboro cottage, I sat at the table, the wood scratched and worn, reading Amos's letter over and over, his words like a hand on my shoulder, warm and steady. "You're stronger than you know." The $6 million trust fund was real. I called Amos's lawyer the next day, my hands shaking as I dialed, and he confirmed it, his voice calm over the phone. That money wasn't just cash, it was a spark, a fire that lit up inside me, burning away the hurt, the shame, the weight of Wade's words. I wasn't broken anymore. I was ready to fight, to take back what they stole, to show Hillsboro the truth. I'd build a new farm, Tate's Harvest, right here in Hillsboro, and I'd make sure Wade and Lila paid for what they did. Not with anger, but with something they'd never forget, a victory so big they'd choke on it. First, I had to dig into their lies, find the proof I needed to show everyone who they really were. I spent nights in that cottage, the air cool, fireflies glowing outside my window, going through old farm records I'd kept in a dusty box. I found Wade's fake bankruptcy report, the numbers all wrong, the paper crumpled like he'd tried to hide it. I called a friend in town, someone who worked at the bank. and they leaked me bank statements. Quiet, sneaky papers that showed Lila got $750,000 from the developer to push the sale of my farm. That was their big secret, their dirty deal, and it made my blood boil, my hands clenching the papers so tight they crinkled. I planned my comeback, every step careful, every move thought out. I'd build Tate's Harvest, a rival farm that would outshine anything Wade and Lila could dream of, and I'd reveal their fraud at the Hillsboro County Fair, where the whole town would see. I kept my wealth a secret, not telling a soul about the $6 million, letting Wade and Lila think I was still broke, still beaten. I'd watch their StreamNet posts on my old laptop, the screen flickering, seeing them boast about their big mansion, their fancy cars, calling me broke Nora in their videos, laughing like they'd won. It hurt, each word like a knife in my chest, but it fueled me, made me work harder, made me hungrier for the day I'd take them down. I trained with a local farmer, an old man named Joe who'd been growing crops in Hillsboro for 40 years. He taught me how to grow blueberries, his hands rough like mine, showing me how to plant the bushes, how to water them just right, the dirt cool under my fingers. I loved being back in the earth, feeling the soil, knowing I was growing something new, something mine. I built a team of loyal volunteers, folks who still believed in me, like my nephew Ben, who'd come over after school, his hands eager to help, his smile bright like Amos's. There was also Sarah, a neighbor who'd always loved my pies, and Tom, a farmer who'd danced at my festivals. They helped me clear land, plant trees, build a barn, their laughter filling the air, making me feel like I wasn't alone. Every night, I gathered more proof, piling it up like a stack of bricks to build my case. I had Wade's fake reports, Lila's bank records, even texts Wade sent to a friend, bragging Nora's gone, we're set now. I prepared a lawsuit with a lawyer in town, a quiet man who believed me, and I worked on a StreamNet speech to tell the truth at the fair, writing it out on scraps of paper, practicing in front of my mirror, my voice shaky at first, but getting stronger each time. Wade's words, "You're a fool," kept echoing in my head. But I turned that pain into strength, letting it push me forward, letting it drive me to fight harder. I'd show Hillsboro what real family looks like, not their lies, not their greed. I walked the cottage at night, the floor creaking under my steps, fireflies glowing outside like little stars, planning every detail, every word I'd say. The fair would be my stage, the place where I'd stand tall, where I'd make sure Wade and Lila couldn't hide from what they'd done. I'd show Hillsboro the truth, and I'd take back my name, my farm, my home, my heart. I'd make Amos proud, make Hillsboro proud, make myself proud. I wasn't just fighting for me, I was fighting for every farmer who'd ever been cheated, every person who'd ever been betrayed by someone they loved. This was bigger than me, bigger than the farm, and I was ready to win. 12,000 characters, including spaces and punctuation. The rise from the ashes, building something stronger. 10,000 characters, 1,667 words. With $2 million from Amos's trust fund, I bought a new plot of land in Hillsboro's hills, a wide stretch of earth with rolling green fields, the kind of place Amos would have loved. I named it Tate's Harvest, a name that felt like a promise, a new start. I built sprawling orchards, planting apple and peach trees, their leaves bright in the sun, and a cider barn where I pressed fresh juice, the air sweet with the scent of fruit. I made blueberry jams, the berries plump and juicy, and folks in town couldn't get enough, lining up at my gate to buy jars, their smiles warm again. I opened the farm with free workshops for kids, Black, Latino, white, teaching them how to plant seeds, how to water plants, their small hands eager in the dirt, their laughter echoing across the fields. It brought Hillsboro together, folks from all walks of life, sharing stories, working side by side, just like the old days at Tate Family Farm. The air smelled of peaches, the sun warm on my skin, and I felt Amos with me, his spirit in every tree, every laugh. I put $2 million into a trust for myself, making sure I'd be okay no matter what. And I started Amos's Roots, a nonprofit to help small farmers across the Carolinas, giving them money, tools, and knowledge to keep their farms alive. My lawsuit against Wade was getting stronger, the proof piling up like a mountain. His fake bankruptcy reports, Lila's bank records showing her $750,000 developer deal, the texts where he bragged about my downfall. I prepared a StreamNet speech for the Hillsboro County Fair, writing it out carefully, every word sharp, ready to show the town the truth. I had all the evidence: Wade's lies, Lila's greed, their cruel words, and I'd make sure everyone saw it. Wade tried to sabotage me, spreading rumors in town that I was in debt, that Tate's harvest would fail, just like the old farm. I'd hear the whispers at the market, folks saying Nora's in trouble again, their voices low, their eyes darting away. But Hillsboro was starting to see the truth, starting to come back to me. Neighbors showed up at my farm opening, their smiles warm, their hands ready to help. Sarah brought a pie, her crust as flaky as mine, and we laughed, sharing slices with the kids. Tom helped me plant more trees, his hands steady, his laugh loud. Kids ran through the fields, their voices bright, and I felt the town coming back to me, piece by piece, like a quilt being stitched together. Wade and Lila were slipping, their lies catching up to them. The developer who bought my farm demanded their $750,000 back, saying they'd lied to him too, and I heard they fought in public, yelling outside the diner, their voices sharp, their faces red. Lila threw a glass of water at Wade, the whole town watching, whispering, "They're done." I kept going, my pain from their betrayal pushing me forward, making me stronger. I planted a peach tree for Amos, its blossoms bright pink, its branches reaching for the sky, and I stood there, the wind soft on my face, knowing I was building something stronger than they could ever break, something that would last, something that would honor Amos, honor Hillsboro, honor me. The Hillsboro County Fair was alive with 8,000 folks, the air thick with the smell of fried dough, cotton candy, and ripe peaches, the kind of day that felt like summer in your bones. My Tate's Harvest booth was the brightest spot on the fairgrounds, its wooden table covered with jars of blueberry jam, their labels shining in the sun, and big jugs of fresh apple cider I'd pressed that morning, the liquid golden and sweet. I handed out free cups of cider and jam on little crackers, kids running up with sticky hands, their laughter loud, their parents smiling as they tasted it, saying, "Nora, you're back, and better than ever." Across the field, Wade and Lila had their Carver Farms booth, a sad little setup with my stolen recipes, their smiles fake as they handed out peach pies that tasted like cardboard compared to mine. That morning, Wade had tried to charge me for my booth, marching over with a smirk, his hand out demanding cash like he owned the fair. "Pay up, Nora," he'd said, his voice sharp. But the sheriff, a tall man with a badge glinting in the sun, stepped in, his face hard. "Back off, Wade," he said, and Wade slunk away, his face red, the crowd watching, whispering. I grabbed the mic from the fair stage, my heart pounding, my voice echoing over the field. "Funny thing, Wade," I said, staring him down as he froze at his booth. "Real farmers don't need $750,000 bribes to survive." The crowd gasped, 8,000 heads turning, their eyes wide, staring at Wade as his face turned redder than the apples I used to pick. Lila dropped a pie, the dish shattering on the ground, her hands shaking. I'd spent months gathering proof, working late in my cottage, the lamp flickering as I sorted through papers. I had Wade's fake bankruptcy report, the numbers a lie, Lila's bank records showing her $750,000 developer deal, and a recording of Wade laughing saying, "Nora's finished, we're set." At noon, I launched Nora's Truth on StreamNet, my booth packed with folks, their phones out, recording me. I held up the forged papers, my hands steady, my voice clear. "They stole our farm," I said, pointing at Wade and Lila, their faces pale across the field. I showed Lila's bank records on a big screen, her secret deal flashing for all to see, the $750,000 in bold numbers. The crowd murmured, their voices rising, their anger growing. Then I played Wade's recording, his smug voice booming over the speakers. "Nora's finished. Finished. We're set." The crowd erupted, booing, shouting, "Shame on you, Wade!" Wade yelled back, "She's lying!" But the boos drowned him out, folks throwing straw at their booth, their faces hard with disgust. I revealed Amos's $6 million will, holding up the letter, my voice strong. "I built Tate's Harvest for us," I said, pointing to my booth, alive with Hillsboro's love, kids still eating jam, neighbors cheering. The StreamNet stream soared, hitting 80,000 views in an hour, then 500,000 by nightfall, the numbers climbing as the sun set, casting a golden glow over the fair. Wade and Lila's channel crashed, their followers gone, Carver Farms done, their booth empty as folks walked away, shaking their heads. I stood there, the mic still in my hand, the crowd chanting, "Nora! Nora!" as Wade and Lila fled, their heads down, straw stuck in their hair. Months later, I won a $1.2 million lawsuit against them, the judge slamming his gavel, saying, "Justice for Nora Tate." I walked out of the courthouse, the sun warm on my face, knowing I'd taken back my name, my farm, my town. Hillsboro saw the truth, and Wade and Lila were nothing. Their lies dust in the breeze, their greed burned to the ground. Love this takedown? Subscribe to our channel for more epic revenge stories where the good guys win and the snakes get what they deserve. Wade and Lila were gone from Hillsboro, their names poison in the air, whispered with disgust at the market, the diner, the church. I bought back Tate Family Farm at auction for pennies, the developer long gone after their fraud came to light, the land untouched, the orchard still standing, waiting for me. Wade's big, shiny mansion was repossessed, the bank taking it back, the windows dark, the lawn overgrown with weeds. Lila left him for a car salesman, a slick man with a cheap suit, her dreams of wealth as empty as her heart, her laughter gone, her eyes cold. I merged Tate Family Farm with Tate's Harvest, and now it's Hillsboro's pride, the heart of the town beating stronger than ever. We host weddings under Amos's oak tree, its branches wide like his love, the leaves rustling as couples say their vows, their smiles bright, their hands clasped tight. Kids pet goats and lambs in a little petting zoo where bulldozers once lurched, ready to tear down my orchard, their laughter filling the air, their hands soft on the animal's fur. Every jar of jam we sell, blueberry, peach, apple, has a tiny thorned vine on the label, a reminder of what I fought for, a symbol that no one forgets how ruin grows, how betrayal can spark something stronger. Amos's Roots, my nonprofit, has grown, helping farmers across the Carolinas, giving them money for seeds, tools for planting, classes to learn new ways to grow. We've supported over 1,000 farmers, keeping their land alive, their families fed, their dreams real. Hillsboro gave me an award for it, a shiny plaque I keep on my farmhouse wall, the red paint still bright, the rooms warm with the smell of baking pies. At an Amos's Roots event, a young farmer, barely 20, came up to me, his hands rough like mine, his eyes bright. "You showed me I can fight, Nora," he said, his voice steady. "I kept my farm because of you." That moment made it all real, made every tear, every sleepless night worth it. I'd trusted too much, let Wade and Lila in, let them hurt me, but they taught me strength, taught me to guard my heart, to fight for what's mine. I'm still Nora, still baking pies, still loving Hillsboro's peach blossoms the way they bloom each spring, soft and pink, but I'm mine now, stronger, wiser, whole. My legacy isn't just farms, isn't just cider or jam. It's showing folks they're enough, showing them they can stand up when someone tries to bury them. To everyone listening, when someone takes your roots, grow something bigger, something so bright they can't look away. Wade and Lila tried to bury me, but I rose, and Hillsboro rose with me. Stronger, closer, better. You can too. Subscribe to our channel to join our revenge family. More stories like Nora's are coming. Tales of hurt, fight, and victory.